everyone, and welcome to Community Spotlight, exclusively here on RCN. Glad you could join us. And tonight, we're going to get everybody in shape in just ½ an hour. Well, it might take a little bit longer than that, but we can definitely get you started on the right track. We're very lucky to have with us Michelle Leach. She is here to talk a little bit about the very popular art known as Pilates. And Michelle, welcome to Community Spotlight.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Dan.
Good to have you. Now, before we get into the actual fitness and the classes that you teach and also the personal training that you do, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in Pilates.
Well, I come from a real estate background, and I loved real estate. But when I had my son, I wanted a career where I felt that I wasn't so much working, but really giving back as much as I was receiving. And I've always loved Pilates. And I had a good friend who introduced it to me maybe 14 years ago. And the reason she told me about Pilates is because I used to complain about the gym. I was in the gym forever, and I would lift weights. And even though I was small and people would say, "Oh, you look great," I always felt bulky, like almost like a bodybuilder. I might not have looked that way to other people, but I felt it.
I see.
And Pilates was the only thing I did where I still had the definition and the tone that I wanted, but still felt lean and long. And I also hated doing abs. I hated doing ab work, and I hated stretching. Those were my two nemesis when it came to working out. The 10 minutes at the end of my workout that I would spend stretching and doing abdominal work, I just despised it. But Pilates, I got all of that in one exercise. So it cut my workout, I would say, not into more than half. So it saved me a lot of time, and I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. So that's how I got into it, and then that's how I decided to start teaching, was when I had my son. And
yeah, and the lifestyle too. I think the time management aspects of being a new mom, that definitely comes into play, and being able to teach the classes and kind of set your own schedule. I imagine that had some appeal.
Absolutely, the flexibility was great, and you know, I didn't have as much time to go to the gym, and Pilates was the only thing that I could do anywhere. If I had 15 minutes, I could do it. If I had a ½ an hour, and I always felt so good afterwards. And when I started teaching, and I noticed the change that would happen to my clients, not just physically, but it was almost an internal thing where they walked better, they had better posture, they held their heads up, they had great body awareness. They would say to me, "Oh, Michelle, you know, when I shoveled the other day, I throw out my back. This time I didn't because, you know, they took their principles into it." So that was exciting for me. You know, I really felt, wow, I'm helping people, not just to look good, but to feel good and take care of themselves.
And that's a huge part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year, especially with the winter that we're having, and how tough it is to, you know, if you do belong to a club, to get out of the driveway to get to the club has been a challenge this year.
Just the effort. You know, it takes a lot of effort to go to the gym sometimes. And it's not even that we don't want to, it's just, it's such almost an inconvenience. Like I would say even now, to dust off your car, shovel out the snow, get in, find parking, go to the gym, you know, and then you have to worry about the kids, what are you going to do with them, you know, do you have enough time in the day? So you know, Pilates offers that flexibility, and also it's very convenient because you can literally do it in your living room or your bedroom.
Excellent. Now, do you have to have an athletic background at all to be a participant in Pilates?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Pilates is for everyone. Young, old, men, women, even my son who's 7 does it. So.
Fantastic.
And I say, even if you have ailments in your body, Pilates will help you to get better. So anyone can do it.
It's interesting. Before the show, we were talking a little bit about how Joseph Pilates came along with this concept, and how one group of folks, dancers, found this to be a great way to stay in shape. And I would imagine by that you mean core strength, shape, and so on. If they suffered an injury, and rather than let their whole bodies have to catch back up, you know, only the injured part of their body would have to catch back up. They were keeping in shape through Pilates, it sounds like.
Actually, they were finding that they became even stronger. So what Pilates does is it teaches you how to work from your core. So every single movement starts from your abdominals. It also teaches you how to take the weight out of your joints. So you're working from the small muscles. So a lot of dancers found that they would just go because they had to go. They had to do something. But then they loved the work because they found that when they started dancing again, that they were dancing from their core, their abdominals, and it actually made them better, and it actually helped them to prevent further injuries or future injuries.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We're taking a look at some photographs that you were kind enough to supply. Who is the model in this picture?
That would be me.
Excellent. Now, some of these poses, would you call them poses, first of all, or
They
forms?
are poses,
Okay.
yes, yes.
And
That's me having fun.
Would you say, like, are these basic, intermediate, advanced?
They're pretty advanced. Yeah, you know.
But you don't start out with this, is what you were saying a moment ago.
No, you don't start out with this. Like, so from my video, the DVD I put out, it's for beginners to intermediate. So the first 30 minutes is a basic workout that you can, that will introduce you to Pilates and kind of make you aware of the movements. And, you know, Pilates, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Right.
Once you've mastered that 30 minutes of Pilates that for the first section of my DVD, I have an express workout that's about 15 minutes. And that's kind of like get the cardio going, get the movement. It's a little faster, but it's very, very effective.
Excellent. It sounds like a safe way to do it, too. You master the basic components, and then you're ready for a little speed work, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. You get the fundamentals down, and then you have fun.
Excellent.
So I wouldn't suggest those for you, Dan. Maybe tomorrow to try, but maybe one day.
A year from now, maybe, in my situation?
If I'm training you, I'd say in a couple months.
Is that right? Wow, that's good to hear. Michelle Leach is our guest for Spotlight tonight. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about the origins of Pilates and her organization and her website, which can kind of get you started heading down that path. We'll be right back on Community Spotlight.